Hey, in today's video, I'm going to show you how to draw this winding path using overlap and atmospheric perspective to create depth. I think you're really going to like it. It reminds me of back in the day when I used to be in Boy Scouts and go hiking on Mount Baden-Powell. My name's Kurt. I'm a dad who draws. Come on, let's get to work.
So this is our drawing, and it's a lovely forest path up in Washington, I think I found out, and so I left that in the description. But let's go ahead and get started on this. So first thing I do is when I'm going to draw a picture, I like to make some type of border. All right, so there's my border. That's a good start, I think, right there. And then I like to go in with this idea of drawing gesture first. What's gesture? Gesture is one of Roanna's favorite things. She's going to watch this. Gesture is a very loose, it's a quick draw, and you're just trying to get an idea of what the picture looks like. And it might only last just for, seconds. It could be even 30 seconds long. Yep, there it is, AJ. Yep, it's true, AJ. It has cleared up. And if I don't know why that is, AJ. If I just talk a little long enough, then it gets down to business here, right? So we delay the good stuff, right? All right, here we go. So if I'm going to gesture something, what I'm trying to do is just get a feel for it. And usually I'm holding my pencil by the back end here, and I'm like almost ice skating along the page. Not trying to create a picture, just to get some ideas down. So for example, I see this big hill coming in, and I'm going to draw a light here because I'll probably adjust this. And all right, I have another thing coming in like that. All right. What else we got over here? We got this trail. It's kind of coming around like this. All right, so there you go. That's a quick gesture. And then I've got this tree, this big old tree right down the center here. You see that? Another one over here. And then some small ones over there. Okay, great. Boom. There's my gesture. Maybe some bushes over here. Okay? So without really giving it a lot of thought, I just quickly put some marks down on the page to get some idea of what's going on. All right, now with that being said, let's go into our next phase of our picture, and that's really kind of building it. All right, so we're going to work on the construction of our picture. All right, so if I look at our drawing, our picture here, I'm going to kind of establish where some certain things are. Okay, so let me show you what I'm going to look at first. And it's like you're looking at a map, a blank map of a town. Think of this. Think of it like this. Let's just say I came and visited you to your town, and all I had was a street map, but it had no buildings, it had no names on it, it had nothing. And you might say, well, Kurt, let me show you where the firehouse is. So you might put a mark on the map and show you the firehouse, and then you might show me where the library is, and then you might show me where your house is. And so with those landmarks, I could kind of find out my way how to get to your house. Well, a drawing is no difference. We need to establish some landmarks on this. So, for example, a great landmark might be right there. That's where my trail ends. Okay. Another great landmark, and let me move this over slightly here.
Hey, there you are. I don't mean to interrupt the video, but listen, if you're enjoying this, do me a big favor. You know the drill. Jump down there, hit that like button. Go ahead and tell me in the comments whether you'd like to see more landscapes, seascapes, or still lifes. Okay? All right, let's get back to work now. All right.
All right. Another great landmark might be right here where the trail you could say where it begins. You see that? And it looks like this is also right where the trail begins on the other side. So that's an important landmark for me to realize. With this right there, that's a good landmark too. That's where the embankment comes in contact with the trail, and here's a good one right there. That's also a good one, I would say. And you don't have to go hog wild. You're just kind of trying to build some marks in order to get an idea of where these things are going. All right. So let's go ahead and use that to our advantage here. So I'm going to look at just the side of my picture here, and if I divide this in half, I can see, oh wow, that landmark is just below the halfway point. So I'm going to come in here and go right there. That's my guess. That's my guess where that landmark is. And I'm going to come over here now and kind of put the other one in. Okay, that's going to be right about there. And I'm making these marks a little bit on the darker side. You don't need to do that per se. And then how far this comes in. Okay, now I'm coming in probably right about there for that one there. You see that? And the next one coming down, it's like almost lines up in between those two. Maybe right about there. Maybe even a little bit lower than that, huh? And then come over here to the left-hand side, and I can see my trail starts right there like that. And on the right-hand side, I'm going to say, okay, my trail is right about there. All right, let's take a look at this now, and then once we have all those marks in place, we can kind of start playing a little connect the dots. So maybe we start right here, and we're going to come in like this. You see that? And then this is going to curve a little bit and come right up there, you see? And then this is going to come on down over here like this, right? This is going to have a slight curve here and come in this direction. And then the other one I can connect this over here. You see that? Look at that. This is really distracting to me. All right, let's continue getting the outline of our drawing here. Next one I'm going to look at here, and we'll just add a new layer here. From this point here, look at that. Look at that shape. You see that? That's a great shape right there to get in. So let's work on that shape right there. So I'm going to come up. All right, right there. That's a good shape. Then look at right here. This is right about where the corner of that comes in contact there. So we could guesstimate that as well, I think. That's going to be maybe right. Look at that also. It almost is directly across from him. So we're probably right about there. You see that? It's like almost directly across. All right, and then this is where it comes in right there. Now look at this now. I've got to get this right angle, right? So I'm going to come all the way around here like this. And of course, then here's the rest of that hill coming down just like that. You see that? And this rock here, this is a good one here. So we got to move this over a little bit. All right, let's get our first big tree in here. I'm going to move to the top here, and what I'm going to look for is this right here. I'm going to look for this shape right there. Watch this. I'm going to look for this right there. You see that? That's what I'm looking for. That amount of space. Okay. So let's come over here like this, and I'm going to try and match that shape right there. Okay, that looks good, I think. Now I can just guesstimate how thick that tree is coming in. You see that? All right. And then I've got another tree over here coming down behind that hill. It's about as thick as that. And so let's bring that in as well. Then we've got some other smaller trees, and we can just kind of quickly guesstimate them about where they're going to go. We'll get more accurate as we continue on, but get that idea there. And then I have a bunch of them over here. It's very dark. And of course, the last thing I want to draw here, I want to see this hillside. This hillside is going to come down like this, you see? And it's going to be filled with all kinds of plants and things like that. I'm going to erase these marks now. Okay, so we've got some nice things that are happening here. We got overlap, and now we're going to take a look at value. So let's consider what value is. Value is the gray value of any color. So every color has a gray value. If you remove what you would say like the hue, that means it would be like the hue is the yellow, the saturation, the red, the blue, the green. If you remove the saturation, what you're left is the gray value of the color. So you could also achieve this by taking any color photo and converting it to black and white. That's going to give you the gray value. So look what I've done here for you, and I want to show this picture just for a minute. So this is our picture, but with all the color turned off, and you can see that it is quite dark. In fact, let me just brighten this up just a quick second here for you. Okay, there you go. That's better. So you could, just by looking at this picture, you could see that that our picture is quite dark in gray value. It doesn't have a bunch of bright whites. Most of the bright whites are in the foreground of the picture, and we want to just be aware of those. Okay, so let's go ahead then and come back to our color version, because I want you to be able to envision your colors more in grayscale instead of always converting it. It was just to show you an example. So with this being said, let's just take the side of our pencil and let's create some value here. So all I want you to do is very, very carefully try, and this is going to take a second, just add an overall tone to your picture. And if you happen to make your picture gigantic, like 8 by 10 or something like that, then just ignore this step, because that's going to take you forever. And you can come back in after the video's over and tone things down just a little bit. So because our picture is so dark, I'm just going to go in here and add a tone. The only thing I'm going to not tone is my trail here. I'm going to keep that a little bit more on the brighter side, okay? But this should get us going here. Okay. Let's go ahead and work from back to front, and you can work from whatever direction you want to, but let's start adding. Now we've got our construction down, we've had some value to it. Let's go ahead and add some details, and the details are it's what's gonna make this picture look really neat. So first thing I notice that my eye jumps to, of course, is this fallen tree right here. So I'm gonna add this little bit here, and then I'm going to add a round end to it like that, you see? I'm going to come down here and taper just a little bit. Then I'm going to add a stick. And when I draw the stick, I'm going to taper it. Tapering means like you bring two things closer together, just like that. That's a tapering. Other thing I want to do is then also add some surface lines. That means like little lines that go around the surface of my trunk here. This is really going to help tell the story that it's really round. And make sure you make them round now. Right? Let's add some more objects here, okay? There's this interesting rock that's right over here. You see this? That's kind of behind the hill. So I'm going to just add like 3 straight lines to get the form of it. Then we add some lines below, straight across. And then I'm going to add a tone to it. So I drew the outline of my rock. Added some tone to it. You see that? Looks like there's a pair of rocks over here. So let's outline those as well. Okay. Look at right here. There's this tree that's coming up right over here. You see this? And all we really do with him is we see this silhouette. So let's just get a nice even tone. And then right next to him, there's another one with just a sliver of light coming through. All right, let's continue working on this hillside here. And we've got a ton of plants. So I'm just going to do the outlines of some of these leaves here. When I draw these leaves, I'm trying to make these different. You see this? So I don't exactly mirror it, but you know, one might be longer. This is going to cause variety. All right. And then I'm just going to go in with some dark value right underneath my rock here, my log. AJ, how you doing over there, buddy? All right, let's continue on. Let's move on to this next hill that's right in front of us here. So look at this. I see this rock that's right on the edge there. You see that? And then there's this other rock that's like this. You see? Got this rock over here. Then I've got these roots. Another rock down here. And now we've got all these pebbles. And I'm just going to... Good, all right, great. Sometimes when you draw pebbles, if you just try to like do these little scallops, like the shadow that they're casting, that could be interesting. All right, so then let's go ahead and draw the edge of this hill here, and watch how I do this here. I'm just going to go in here with a nice thick line. And this is going to help define that this hill is here in front of me. Yep. Sometimes we could add a thick line to make something look like it's coming towards us here, right? Now this is also where you could start to use some surface lines that would make this look interesting. So watch how I use surface lines. Surface lines are just describing the surface of the form, you see? So there's maybe that part right there. Maybe a flower or something there. So you can see that I'm just adding shape and detail here. Trying to create a variety of forms. Maybe even some sticks. Thing is, you want to just be careful of making these things look too patterned. What I mean by pattern is like if you stop thinking, you'll start to space things out perfectly even. And this is a very natural setting, so we definitely want to be careful of doing that. I'm sort of following the picture, but I'm definitely I am definitely improvising too, being inspired. Okay, so let's come back and work on this hill a second time, and I'm going to drop an overall tone on this whole entire thing, except maybe the top of that log. I'm going to do this so that that first hill in front of me is going to come forward. That's where I want my eye to go, is right at that edge of that mountain there. Okay, I'm going to keep working now this other hillside here and just come up with by using surface lines. And it looks like then I'm going to hit this tree. This tree is going to be my first big mass. When I do draw, I push down and pull up. Watch. I push down and I pull up. Push down and pull up. That ends up giving me a nice line. All right, let's get the other side of this trunk maybe. See, I'm pushing down and pulling up there. All right, let's go ahead and fill this guy in with a dark value. I can build it up so I don't have to jump in right away. And be mindful the right side is light. It is catching the light on the right side, so we don't want to fill the whole thing up. Now to make something look round, you see this dark edge that I have along here? If I just come in here and darken that edge right where it comes to the light, that actually gives a sense that this tree is round. All right. Let me erase down here. I'll show you that in a different way. Okay. While you keep drawing, I'm going to show this to you here. Let's just say, and you don't have to draw this. I'm just kind of showing it to you. Let's just say you had a cylinder. Okay. If I want to cause that cylinder to be round, I would drop a shade down one side of it, just like this. An even tone. And then right here, where it comes in contact with the lighter side, I'm going to drop a darker tone, you see? And that right there will cause us to have a very round feel. Well, we're using that on this big trunk of tree, the same concept, okay? All right, let's look. There's another trunk back here. You see this? Just add him in as well. Okay. All right, so I'm looking at the picture here. This is very dark up in here, so I'm going to just go ahead and fill that in with some darker tone. Well, let's come to the other side here now of our picture. And I can see over here we've got some plants that are coming up, right? And we could just, when I'm drawing plants, you could just trying to think of variety as I draw these leaves. I just don't drop them in. And you can even add like a little bit of a thicker line underneath to give them some tone. It gives them some shape. All right, so we've got some more that are popping up here, right?
You know, one of the best things that you could do in order to improve is to draw a little bit every day.
I've got this great membership class called the Daily Draw.
We get together every day for about 30 minutes. I go live in the afternoon and we cover all things that have to do with drawing. If you stuck with this for 3 months, I guarantee you, you're going to be far more confident in your drawing. Link is in the description. Check it out. All right, let's get back to work.
Some more over here as well. All right, that looks like I got this rock right here. Look at that rock. And this is very dark underneath that rock. And I've got this tree on this other side that's coming up just like this. And then this, of course, gets darker tone here. I'm just kind of looking at values here. All right, let me erase this. Let me just do this real quick and get rid of all that garbage on the bottom down there, right? Okay. All right, let's go ahead. There's this, look at this, there's this other rock right there. So when it comes to drawing rocks, I like to draw the whole outside. And then I think there's an edge where the rock turns around. And so I just kind of added that there. And now we're going to add a little shadow to that. So I'll draw that rock. I'll draw an overall shape like this. Add a little bit of a tone to that. And that usually gives me a nice rock. There might be some lag right now. It's not you guys, it's me. So just giving you a heads up. All right, let's get some bushes in here now. There's some bushes right in here. You see this? And then we also have some bushes over here. So let's kind of slowly work these in. And you know, these might be a little bit on the thicker side over here. Looking for variety here. I'm going to add some tone down here to the front. Maybe some tone back here. Surface lines, and you know what? If you're not familiar with what surface lines are, let me show you a quick little demo of that while you work on some of other stuff. Okay, so up here on the left, I'm going to create this right here. This is a good example. This is a Y of a tree, and let's create another one down here. All right. Surface lines, of course, are if I walk around the surface of this trunk, it's going to be something like this, and then this one here, this is going to come forward, and this one can also come forward like that. Well, if I reverse that, watch what happens. Now we have a optical illusion almost, where this is going away like that, and then I could come forward over here. You see this? So just by adding surface lines, these things become very round, and so that's all I'm doing is right down in here where I'm following the surface of the of that path right there of the embankment. Let's move on to our path here and add some surface lines here. And you can, on the path, I'm going just to go straight across like this at different places, not continuous. And I might add some rocks or pebbles, you see? Maybe it's a lot more rocks on the edge because that's where no one walks. The part where they walk is going to have less debris, right? Look at here. And you can add a little bit of a tone in certain areas here, so it looks, maybe it's muddy or it's in shadow or something like that, you see? Okay, let's get this other big tree in here, and I think I'm gonna come down like this, right about there, and yep, it's coming down like that. So let's add some tone on the right side, just like we did before. I'm going to darken in this edge here. All right. It looks like there's another tree. It's kind of a dead tree. It's over there, like that, you see? We're going to get to top. We're going to get this area in just a minute, okay? So hang tight. I want to just get some more of these trunks that are coming down. All right, I see some black dark branches coming here on the right side there. Yep. A couple more maybe. And then I see some other trees that are just kind of silhouettes back here. Okay. Okay, now in this last closing minutes here, let's just squint our eyes and look at where we should add some darker values. So I'm going to just, in my picture here, I'm going to add some darker values back here. You see, I can see those are coming through a little bit, you see? There's some darker values back here. Darker values up here, maybe. All right, let's work in this top right corner here, okay? So if I look at my picture, it's kind of like they're going to be pine, like pine needles up here, and so they're kind of jagged. So I want to just kind of go slowly. I just don't want to go quickly as I'm doing this. So I'm just going to start adding some texture that would almost feel like pine needles. All right, I'm going to come over here, maybe give some more. Hey, Joe. Oh, thanks. You'll catch up. Okay, we'll be done in just a second here. So I've just kind of dropped in some of my darker shapes up there. So let's now come in with a second value, and not quite as dark as that, but same kind of hatchy lines. I don't know how you might describe them, but just overall tone. That's all I'm doing is adding value. AJ, since this is one of your first ones drawing with us, you know what? I forgot to mention that one of the things that will help in making this speed up is to draw a smaller picture. I'm not really sure what size picture you're drawing, but my size over here is about a 5x7. So if you were to, I really wouldn't draw anything larger than that, especially that we're trying to accomplish this drawing in an hour's time. So that's something to definitely think about there. All right, so as we're coming into like the closing minutes here, I can take a look at my picture, and now it's time to reevaluate my values. For example, as I look at my picture, I can see my hillside, and I'm going to point this out to you with a different color so it stands out, okay? So my hillside right here, look how bright. Ooh, what happened there? Let's just pop that up there and bring that back. Okay, so my hillside right here is extremely bright. But on my picture, I could see it's actually a much darker value than that than that trail. So that's the first thing I want to fix. So let's get in there, and I'm going to just drop an overall tone, on this, so that the light, my trail will be a little bit brighter, you see? And we could cause something to be brighter by darkening everything around it. Okay, that's the first area. I'm going to kick that back, and then look, here's another area here. Look at this. Look how this little area here. Look how bright that is compared to my pictures. You see? That shouldn't be much. That should also be a darker value than the trail. So let me make that adjustment as well. So I'm just going to come in here. Add a little value to that. Okay. And the last thing, and look at this, my hillside here is also a little bit too intense. So I'm going to drop that down as well. All right, now we're looking a little bit better. I like that. I could even say that this, I'm going to drop a little bit of a shadow, a little bit darker value in there, right? And then if I look at this area here on my drawing, and of course, yours might be different than mine, so you're going to have to evaluate on yourself, but this whole area in my drawing there is a pattern that's forming, so it's very flat, okay? But if I look at the picture, wow, that is amazing, the organization of value. So let's see if I can fix that in mine and get something that is a little bit more interesting to look at. So let's come in here maybe with a darker tone to break this up a little bit. I'm going to do something like that. Okay, look at that. Just adding that little area there. Okay, that really changes that part of my picture. All right, and then the last thing I think I'm going to do is just add a little bit of tone along the outside part of my path. And I think that's going to do it for tonight.
A dad who draws. Hey, how'd it go? I bet you did a great job. Well, listen, if you want more videos on how to do landscapes, check this one out right here. Or if you're looking for more portrait work, check out this one right there, okay? All right, go out there, make your day great.